Welcome to Coin Explorer. Right now, I want you to slow down and imagine something incredibly simple. A single 2017 United States quarter resting quietly in your hand. It feels ordinary, familiar, almost invisible in your daily routine, like something you would normally ignore without even thinking twice. You've probably held coins like this hundreds, maybe even thousands of times, and never stopped to truly look at one. But today is different. Today, we are not rushing past it. Today, we are paying attention in a way most people never do. Because sometimes the most ordinary objects carry the most unexpected depth and meaning. This coin has traveled through places you've never seen, passed through hands you'll never meet, and been part of countless moments that quietly shaped everyday life. Stay with me carefully, because once you see this coin differently, you may never look at loose change the same way again. At first glance, the front of the coin gives you exactly what you expect. The portrait of George Washington stands steady, calm and timeless, representing a piece of American identity that has remained unchanged for generations. The words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" sit beside him, almost blending into the design as if they have always belonged there, quietly present without demanding attention. Everything about this side feels familiar, predictable, almost automatic to recognize. But here's the important part. This is only the beginning. This side introduces the coin, but it does not tell the full story. It simply prepares your mind, setting a sense of familiarity before revealing something deeper. Because the true meaning, the emotional weight, and the hidden significance of this coin are not on this side at all. They are waiting quietly on the reverse side, where most people never take the time to look closely. Now, turn the coin slowly and notice how everything changes in an instant. This is no longer just currency, it becomes a story captured in metal. The 2017 Ellis Island quarter shows a family of immigrants standing together, stepping into an uncertain future with quiet strength and determination. Look closely at their faces. You can almost feel the mix of emotions: hope for a better life, fear of the unknown, courage to move forward, and hesitation about what lies ahead. Behind them stands Ellis Island, a place that once welcomed millions of people searching for a new beginning. This is more than just a design. It is a reflection of real journeys, real struggles, and real dreams. Every detail has been carefully crafted to preserve a moment that shaped history, making this coin more than just something you spend. Now think about this honestly. How many times have you held a coin like this and never even turned it over? How many times have you spent it without a second thought, without even noticing what it represents? That is exactly what makes this moment powerful. Because while most people see just a quarter, others see something completely different. They see meaning, detail, and possibility hidden within something small. The coin itself doesn't change, but your attention does. And once your attention changes, everything about the coin begins to feel different. Suddenly, something ordinary becomes something worth exploring, something worth holding on to just a little longer than usual. Let's go deeper into what most people never notice. Not every 2017 quarter is exactly the same, even if they appear identical at first glance. Tiny variations can exist, small differences in how the coin was struck, slight changes in sharpness, or subtle imperfections created during the minting process. These differences are often so small that they go completely unnoticed by the average person. But for collectors, these are the details that matter the most. They are the reason why one coin can feel completely ordinary, while another becomes something worth studying carefully. The difference is not always visible immediately, but once you learn to look closely, you begin to notice patterns and details that others overlook. Condition is another factor that completely transforms how a coin is viewed. A coin that has been in circulation for years carries marks, scratches, and signs of use. Every mark is a quiet reminder of its journey, a record of where it has been and how it has been used. But a coin that remains in near-perfect condition tells a very different story. It looks clean, sharp, almost untouched by time, as if it has been preserved carefully away from everyday wear. This contrast between used and preserved coins creates a sense of difference that collectors pay close attention to. Because in this world, condition is not just about appearance, it's about preservation, rarity, and attention. Then there's the mint mark, a detail so small that many people never even notice it exists. This tiny letter tells you where the coin was produced. It could be Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, each representing a different minting location. At first, it may seem unimportant, almost like a random letter placed on the coin, but once you understand it, you realize it adds identity and origin to the coin. Different mints can produce coins with slightly different qualities, and sometimes certain versions become harder to find than others. For collectors, this small detail becomes part of a much larger story. Now let's build the curiosity even further. Over time, collectors have had serious conversations about how certain coins, especially those with rare characteristics, can attract extraordinary attention. These are not everyday situations. These are rare moments where condition, detail, and uniqueness come together in a way that makes a coin stand out from millions of others. It's not something you expect to find easily. It's something that exists on the edge of possibility, where patience and observation meet opportunity. And in some of these rare and highly theoretical discussions, figures as high as $56 million have been mentioned when talking about extreme examples of coins with unique features. This does not represent a common value, and it's not something associated with typical coins you find in daily use. Instead, it reflects the highest level of rarity, where everything aligns in a very specific and uncommon way. And even hearing such a number is enough to make anyone pause, reflect, and begin to think differently about what they might be holding in their own hands. And that thought, that possibility, is what changes everything. Because suddenly, that quarter in your pocket is no longer just spare change. It becomes something worth a second look. It becomes a question that stays in your mind. Could there be something different about it? Something you haven't noticed yet? And once that question appears, it becomes difficult to ignore. You begin to look closer, to compare details, to observe things that once seemed unimportant. Think about the journey of this coin again. It may have passed through countless hands, been exchanged in busy places, or carried quietly in someone's pocket for years without notice. It has been part of moments that no one remembers, yet it continues to exist, unchanged in its form, quietly moving forward through time. Coins are silent travelers. They do not speak, but they carry stories within them, waiting for someone to notice their presence and significance. For someone just starting out, this is where everything begins. One coin, one moment of curiosity, one decision to look closer instead of ignoring it completely. The 2017 Ellis Island quarter is a perfect place to begin because it combines history, emotion, and design in a way that is easy to access but still meaningful. You don't need experience, expensive tools, or rare finds to begin. You only need attention and patience. For experienced collectors, coins like this serve as a powerful reminder. A reminder that value is not always about age or rarity alone. Sometimes modern coins carry their own importance. They represent current history, present design, and moments that are still close to us. They show that collecting is not only about looking back into the past, it is also about recognizing what is happening right now and preserving it for the future. So, the next time you come across a coin like this, don't rush past it. Hold it for a moment longer than usual. Turn it slowly between your fingers. Look at every detail, every line, every surface. Because the difference between an ordinary coin and an interesting one often comes down to a single moment of attention, and that moment is completely in your control. Once you start looking, you begin to see things that were always there, waiting quietly for you to notice them. Thank you for being part of Coin Explorer. If this made you pause, reflect, and look a little closer, then you are already seeing what most people miss every day. Stay connected for more hidden stories behind everyday coins, more details that turn simple objects into meaningful discoveries. And remember, sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest mysteries, and your next discovery might already be in your pocket, waiting for you to finally notice it.